Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Shad.
This week, we're going to be covering this. Friday the 13th, Part 2, 1981.
Hello?
On a June night in 1980, Friday the 13th, 12 of her friends were murdered. Why should Friday the 13th, 1981 be any different? Friday the 13th, Part 2. The body count continues. 14.
All doomed. You're all doomed.
15.
God.
16.
Help!
17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23.
Sandra? Jeff?
The day you count on for terror is not over. Friday the 13th, Part 2.
So I bought this a couple of years ago. It's 8-bit Halloween, 8-bit universe. It has popular songs like Friday the 13th, Halloween, some other songs there that are in 8-bit style. We are celebrating the 40th anniversary of this film, and it's also our second serving. Yummy.
Yes. We'll be releasing this on the 13th. It won't be a Friday, but it will be Tuesday the 13th.
Tuesday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, Jamie Lee Curtis's birthday.
It will be something like that.
We need to cover that movie one day.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. But yeah, this one, the first sequel to Friday the 13th, and the first movie to pose many questions that are never, ever answered. Let's just start off with the fact of, before we get into whoever's in this, let's just start off with the fact that we all remember the first movie. Jason was a child. He drowned. The end. His mom was the real killer. And now, in Part 2, Jason's back. In a throw-off story later, they say, oh, they thought he died when he drowned in the lake, but he didn't really drown. He just ran away and lived in the woods like a wild man for years. Now, why would a kid who's obviously very into his mother, why would he not go and find his mom and say, hey, Mom, I'm alive. I didn't drown in that lake. There's no reason to murder all these people. Just stay at home and take care of me like a good mom. Whole franchise ended right there.
And let me just add on to that. So he could have done all of that. He should have done that, right? Is what you're saying?
Even if he's mentally challenged, I'm pretty sure they tell you, when you're in trouble, go home. Go find a policeman. Tell them, my name is Jason. My mom's name is Pamela. She lives at this address. I bet he knew that much and could go there and they would solve the problem.
Apparently, he didn't know how to do jack shit like that. But what he did know is how to pick up a map. First of all, is how to find the address to where the survivor is. Alice, to pick up a map, know how to read it. Okay, and let's get real. How many of us know how to read a map? I mean, mind you, this is back.
This is my hand going up slowly in the background.
This is back in the 80s, so everyone knew how to read a map at that point, right?
Yeah, because Google Maps didn't exist. So.
Well, obviously. And then basically read the map, hop the bus, because it's not like...
he had to read a bus schedule, too.
Yes, so there's a lot of reading that he had to do.
He had to get money to pay for the bus ticket.
Because he didn't walk there. It would have taken him a really long time. I don't even know where she lives, but I'm sure she doesn't live 5 minutes away in town.
And how also he took the bus there. Did he take the bus riding with the, like in the overalls with the bag over his head, carrying mom's head in a bag? I feel like even for the bus, that's the kind of behavior that'll get you kicked off.
Nope. Those people sit all the way in the back of the bus.
No, I feel like they sit next to me if I get near the bus. That's where they sit.
Well, don't be on the bus. And then he found her house. Okay. And then he walked this whole way, rode a bus with... I'm thinking he did this without the mask. There's no way...
That's scarier than with the mask, though.
Yep, that's very true. But there's no way, right? I mean, I guess, when did the mask come out? Like, was that around the same time? Maybe it was just acceptable for, like, you to be walking around with a fucked up face.
Yeah, maybe.
And then he went in and he killed the chick. Like... So he did a whole bunch of shit just to get this girl, but he couldn't find his mama.
Yeah, I don't understand. Now, if they had come out like in one of the later movies, my thought was, why didn't they come out and say, oh no, Jason's dad found him on the side of the lake, and he just told the mom that he was dead, and the dad raised him for some evil purpose. You don't need to go any further than that. The dad fucking evil, raised him to be evil. Okay, I buy that. But they never give you any explanation for this. He's just he was a kid that drowned. No, not really. He turned out to be okay. And then he grew up to be an adult that killed everybody that came to the camp.
Not only an adult, but like a big-ass adult. How many dogs, birds, rats are there in fucking Camp Crystal Lake? Like around in the fucking forest area. How many of them? Because he spent... How old was he when he was a kid? Like 9?
Maybe.
You know, and now he's... we don't even know his age. Let's say it's fucking early 20s. You know?
Well, the original camp opened like at the end of the 50s in like 57, 58. So this is like 20-something years later. So even if he was 9 or 10... Then
so he's like 30.
He's in his 30s now.
Okay.
But I guess if he's reading maps, doing all this stuff, maybe he can go into town, read a menu, ask for some burgers. I don't know. Maybe they give the poor, weird-looking dude some burgers for free.
Backstory. Just like Michael that ran down... Well, they didn't run, but he drifted down the river and was caught by a blind old man.
It's the same blind old man.
It's the same blind old man who took care of him.
This time the guy didn't kill him, and he was like, "What? I did a good thing. I helped raise up this kid. He's a good man now." So years later, when Michael Myers floated down the river too, he was like, "Damn, it happened again. I helped this guy out too. He's bound to be grateful." Nope, just killed him.
He was like, "Thanks a lot for saving me. Now I murder you."
So we open this one up with a whole new set of counselors and everything. That is, the opening credits on this take forever to get there, and I love how when it finally gets there, it comes up with the Friday the 13th Part 2 logo, and then everything just explodes in a bomb, like old timey bomb, kapow.
Yeah, but wait a second. You can't skip over the fact that after he killed Alice, okay, Alice put some tea on the stove, all right, a kettle. After he killed her, he walked over. Okay, the director was like, you know what's very important? We need to show this. He walked over and took the kettle that was already, what did you call it? Boiling and doing the little toot thing. Took it off the stove, removed it off the stove, and then walked away. What the fuck was that about? It's like courteous Jason. Like he's like, well, look, I don't want the house to burn down.
I came here to kill this bitch, not to burn the tea.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not about burning tea.
Now, this is also the opening segment of this. It picks up with Alice, the survivor from the previous one, and showing her just hanging around her house before Jason comes in and finishes her off. But this has one of my favorite parts of the movie in it, where Alice is in the kitchen, and you get the typical, oh, it's the cat that's going to scare her. This poor cat is hurled through the window at about 12 miles an hour. This cat just comes flying through the window, all teeth and claws coming through there.
Like almost every cat in the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah, they're all furious, but this one, man, he comes flying through the window. It's obvious he did not jump. Somebody off stage just threw that cat through the window.
Oh, so then we go into the whole like, hey, we're the campers coming to the camp. And, you know, they have to show, you know, they're young and technically what Chad told me was that one of the actresses was very underage.
Yeah, the actress that plays Sandra, his name was Marta Kober. Apparently she had a full nude scene in it, and then they discovered that she was only 16. So they destroyed that footage and just trimmed down the, you know, put the scene in. She still has a sex scene in it, but they just don't show any nudity in it. So I guess they were hoping they were going to go to jail on that one.
Yeah, and in the whole movie, I can't stop watching. Like,
Well,
I shouldn't say I can't stop watching her, but I can't stop thinking like, that's weird. That's
Well, first of all, when you look at her, she looks like she's 14, not even 16.
yeah.
So,
But would you know? And a lot of well-endowed can you say that for women?
yes.
Well-endowed women. You know, when you have the big old boobs, it just adds years to you. I don't know if it's because guys are just no longer looking at your face to see how young you are. All they see is boobs. Or it's like, well, she's massively developed, so she has to be a young woman, you know.
Yeah, she must be 18.
Yeah, so she's legal. If the cup size is a C plus,
She must be 18.
she must be 18.
That's apparently the logic they went with.
Yeah, because she has some big boobs, man. You know, and she's very small framed, but she's so young in the face. I was like, how did they think that she was 18? There's no way. There's no way she's 18.
We also have Amy Steele as the counselor Jenny. Her boyfriend is Paul, played by John Fury. And they're assembling a whole new crew of counselors. They're going to come and they're going to reopen a camp right across from Camp Crystal Lake. Because we're not going to make the same mistake as the last counselors. I mean, they went right in, opened up the camp where everybody died. We're not going to do that. We're going to open a camp across the lake from it where it's completely safe. There's no way the murderer can cross the lake. There's no such things as boats, cars, anything like that. We are safe on this side. Just stay away from the other camp and you'll be fine.
It's like, why would they put it so close? Did he get a discount?
I'm guessing the land around that whole area is cheap. I'm guessing Crystal Lake in general has pretty poor property values, considering that at least every 2 years a murderer comes along and kills a shit ton of people. Maybe burns half the town down if you go by some of the later ones.
Yeah, the main counselor is Paul, and Paul got a discount.
Yep.
For sure.
And this is also one of those things, like, this movie is set in the future at the time. The original movie happened in 79. This movie came out in 81, but they said that it was 5 years after the murders at Camp Crystal Lake. So this one was already in 1984. It was already jumping ahead. It was like, hey, we're in the future now, guys. Which means that by the time like part 4 came around and then part 5 got there and it was like 10 years later, we were already into like 1994. So this movie's been way ahead of the years for a long time.
Well, look, don't they also go from being a lake to being in the fucking river?
Well, yeah, somehow in part 8, the lake connects to the river that connects to the ocean, and you can get a cruise ship in there, and Jason can be on the cruise ship. That was my favorite part.
And then the motherfucker go to space, so we're just all over the place.
Where is he? When is he going to travel in time? That's the thing I want.
You know, yes, Jason Voorhees, time traveler.
Lost in time. That would be perfect. Anyhow,
it's a combination of that and Waxworks for some reason, because you know that Waxworks.
Oh yeah, they went back in time. Yeah.
We also have Walter J. Gorney reprising his role as Crazy Ralph.
Yeah, I was disappointed that Crazy Ralph doesn't make any more appearances. I thought it would be great if in every movie he was just standing there.
Well, yeah, he technically pulls kind of like and this is like in the John Carpenter role of Jamie Lee Curtis, where she does the voice in Escape from New York.
Yeah, and in Halloween 3.
And Halloween 3, yeah. He's the voice in The New Blood. He's the narrator. So that was kind of cool that they
brought him back.
It's a little Easter egg there, but Yeah, so how I guess Jason was like, yeah, so I don't know, maybe or you didn't help my mom, in the first one, so now I'm gonna have to kill you in this one, like
Like, I'm just tired of you, old man. You go around telling everybody not to come to the camp, and then one of these days someone might listen to you, and then I wouldn't get to murder them. So I'm going to kill you now and stop you from warning people.
Oh, crazy Ralph. So yeah, he's doing his crazy thing. And I just don't get like how in the world what was the obsession, okay, with having a character like the survivor, because they did the same thing in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, didn't they? What is the whole thing of like the survivor coming back for like the second movie and then immediately gets killed off?
It wasn't in Texas Chainsaw Part 2.
No. There's like another horror movie where that happened.
They do that in Hostel Part 2. They kill off the guy right at the very beginning that was a survivor from the first one. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it right now.
Yeah, it's so crazy because in my memory, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I guess it's the end, right? Where she's like dreaming and like wakes up in the hospital. No, shit, man. Where
you are all confused on your movies because that is not Texas Chainsaw. Chainsaw ends with him doing like the chainsaw by the side of the road. We never really see Marilyn Chambers again in any of the movies.
Damn, I'm gonna have to get out. Please stand by. I'm gonna find out what movie this is in a later podcast, and then I'll revisit that because I know there's other movies that have that same thing where like the survivor comes back to be in the movie for a little bit and then they're killed off. But so now we have the camp counselors. They're going, they're at Camp Crystal Lake and they're all getting, the down low, what's gonna be happening, And it's so funny because later on in the movies, you get like the actual kids because all the stuff happens like before the kids get there.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't really have an interaction. And I guess also they didn't really want to mess with like, ooh, Jason comes and he's like, is he going to kill the kids? Like, is he going to be a kid killer,
That's one of the parts I love in Part 6 when he kicks the door open and goes into the room where all the kids are at. And the kid looks at the other one and goes, what did you want to be when you grew up? But, yeah, and this one you also, like, this started the tradition of a lot of these Friday the 13th movies always have someone that's a joker. They got the prankster that's running around doing everything. And this one, it's a guy that named Ted that's played by an actor named Stuart Charno. And he went on to write some episodes of Next Generation and do some, like, other, like, random appearances in shows here and there. But yeah, he's the Joker in this one. He's, he's getting people's cars towed by his friends for fun. And he pops in during the scary story, like, half naked, wearing a, like, weird like voodoo or like a tribesman mask. Is very strange. But yeah, and oddly enough in this one, usually that kind of asshole gets killed immediately. Part 3, when you got Shelley in there, he's the one that gives Jason the hockey mask basically and gets murdered. And we just talked about in Nightmare Beach last week. You got the practical Joker guy that gets killed.
I was going to say, like, the 80s was all about using, like, the old, like, mythos, like, you're having the trickster,
Yep. Well, this time, the trickster is one of the few people to actually make it. Because when there's a scene later where they all go to town to drink and have fun, when the rest of them go back to the camp, Ted is like, nah, you know what? I'm going to stay here and chase some more of these girls and drink some more beer. I'm good.
Best fucking thing he ever did.
Which is ironic because usually chasing girls, drinking, that gets you killed in these movies. This saved a man's life this time.
It gets you killed when you're the girl. Also the guy sometimes, but mainly the
Especially
girl.
Especially the girl, yeah. If you're the girl, you have a 99% chance of being murdered for doing those things. If you're the guy, it drops to like 95.
Yeah, it's like, you're not a virgin and innocent, therefore you must be murdered.
Yep. So, yeah, we see Jason on the, going around. He, of course, immediately, after he kills Crazy Ralph, he's hanging around watching what's going on. And before long, he, of course, sees the couple. He sees a girl out skinny dipping, which I feel like that's just the scene they have to have in all these movies, that somebody's got to go skinny dipping. And he has to follow her, kill her, and all this. But I love how this one, they're like sitting around in the counselor's quarters, and everyone's got their giant handheld video game that they're all playing. Like, this must have been something really new. They were like, hey, let's play that electronic football in the game. The kids will relate to that. These things are massive. They look like they weigh about 5 pounds apiece. And you have the girl who very subtly asks the one counselor that's in a wheelchair, so, does all of you work? Is it okay? Like, your legs and stuff, do they work? Real subtle.
Yeah. Also, on top of that, so, like, shit that was going on, in the, like, the whole orientation, the freaking Paul tells the ladies, be careful when you're on your period, when he's discussing the bears. And then oddly, in like the next scene, a later scene, he meets up with Amy Steele's character, and there's a fade out, so they got it on. When she wakes up, she looks at the mirror and it says, beware of bears. And I'm thinking, motherfucker, did you just have sex with this chick the night before and she got her period, or she was already on her period and you left this in like her lipstick? You ruined her lipstick and wrote that shit on the mirror. And how many people caught that? Because that was I was like, okay, that's what's happening there. She's on her period. So did you catch that?
Yeah, I saw that. I thought, well, the main thing I thought was, every woman I've ever known would kick your ass for taking their lipstick and writing on the mirror. Like, there's fucking paper in the house, guy. Pick up a sheet of paper, write it over the goddamn crayon if you want to, but don't write with my lipstick on the mirror. I gotta clean that shit. That would have been, like, every woman I've known would have kicked my ass for that.
And then she just, like, huffs and, like, throws the covers back and, like, throws her head back in bed. And I'm like, okay.
Well, this was the 80s. No matter what the guys did, if the guys walked in, flipped the table over, knocked it on the ground, broke everything on it, the women just laughed and went, "Oh, you." Yeah, there was no consequences for guys in the 80s. Come on.
Yeah, well, and especially if she's happy from what happened the night before, she's just gonna gaff it off. Oh goodness. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a really big fan of the Friday the 13th series because it's just all over the place. And I'm not going to stand here and say that Halloween, my favorite franchise, is not kind of all over the place. It has its issues to some extent. But this series is just like whack-a-doodle. I mean, he comes back to life. He dies. He comes back to life. He's a freaking kid. Now he's a grown-ass man, like, in a weird span of time. There's a lot of things going on. But, you know, what you get out of these films is definitely all the kill scenes. And I know that it comes to a point where you're just having all the, you know, slasher guys up against one another to see who has, like, the high kill count. Yeah. Because that's really what it's at. People are going to see what the fuck crazy shit he's going to do. I mean,
you know, the first one was all about just like the mystery of who's doing these murders and that kind of
which
stuff.
Was clever. And the first one's fucking classic.
But then after this, they really just got crazy and it was just like about having how many crazy kills they could get away with.
And Kevin Bacon is in that one. So, yeah. I mean, that just makes it even extra awesome.
I think we talked about it before. That's why my Kevin Bacon number is like 1. Because I've met Betsy Palmer that played Mama Voorhees, and she was in the movie with Kevin Bacon. So I'm 1 degree away from Kevin Bacon.
Wow, that's pretty intense. You're 1 degree away. Can I just get you that T-shirt? I want to make you in T-Fury.
Yeah, just 1 degree away. Just 1 degree. That's
1
it.
degree.
That's all it says. Let everybody wonder. But yeah, this one, like you said, it's all over the place. And there's a crazy scene where, and I never could figure out if it was supposed to be Amy Steele's character or if it was the rat. But there's a part where Amy Steele is hiding from Jason in the movie, and a rat comes under the bed, and then Jason's about to leave, and he happens to notice this huge amount of pee coming from under the bed. And it's like, that's a lot of pee for a tiny rat. Did Amy Steele just pee her pants because Jason was in there? Or did the rat just pee like roughly his body weight? It was a very weird scene. Like, I don't know what you were supposed to take from that.
Just like there's smoke behind the bushes in the fucking Halloween and John Carpenter smoking, the fucking director must have someone just taken a piss. Maybe it was a cameraman took a piss right there and boom, you got now weird puddle of liquid all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like, if they had showed her, like, be so scared she peed herself, that would have been weird, but I get it. But, like, I don't know. It always just struck me as weird. I've seen this movie several times, and every time I'm like, what is with the under the bed peeing scene? I don't understand it.
You've never seen, like, you have seen that documentary that has, like, it talks about every film one by one. Camp
Yeah.
Crystal Lake Memories or some
Yeah,
shit.
I've seen it, but I don't remember if they talked about what the deal was in that or not. I'll have to look back and see.
How about when one of the camp counselors is freaking looking for her dog Muffin, right? She's so into looking for this dog. Like, she's so worried about the dog. Muffin, 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 looking everywhere, right? And then someone calls off in the distance, hey, it's lunchtime. And she's like, bye, and just runs to fucking get lunch. Total, like, oh, okay, I'm already done thinking about fucking Muffin. Like,
Yeah, Muffin's dead and gone now.
I need my hot dogs, and I need to eat right now.
And that was a weird transition, too. They went from that, like, where she's looking for Muffin and talking about, I can't find my dog, to the next scene is them grilling hot dogs.
Didn't Jason kill Muffin? I thought Jason was
Muffin
going
showed
to
up
eat.
at the end, remember?
Oh, yeah. I thought Jason was going to eat Muffin, because I was like, what is this fucker eating? What is he
No,
eating?
that's Michael Myers that eats the dogs, remember?
You know
Eating
what?
the slashers.
Silence. That's not canon, okay? Because in the second one, in the first one, he kills a dog. He snaps the dog's head. He doesn't eat him. He does not eat the dog
Yes,
in the
he
first
does.
one.
Because he goes in and Loomis says, something like, what is he doing? And he goes, I think he was eating it. He ate the dog.
That was Annie's, well, not Annie's dog, but the little girl's dog. That's out of, you know what? We'll get back to that later. You're wrong, sir. You're wrong.
No,
You're thinking about part 4, where he did eat the dog in part 4. There's a dog that he eats in part 4. I don't know whose dog it is, but he ate something. That's it. Because you're showing how. No. I do not accept this. I have 2 words for you, my friend. Crotch perfume.
Oh, yes. We got treated to that special scene where I call her Lady Subtle, who's asking the counselor in the wheelchair if he can perform. But then she goes to change before they're going to go meet up in the woods. She comes out, takes off the, like, sexy black underwear, puts on another pair of, like, in my opinion, less sexy underwear. And then while she's doing that, she's like, let me put some perfume on. Oh, a little under the wrists, a little under the arms. And you know what? Let me just spray a little bit on my vagina while I'm down here. Got to do the lily before we go on here.
Now we're going to have this discussion. So if you can't handle what I'm going to say, please just fast forward a little bit to like 5-10 seconds forward. Let's talk about this crotch perfume. I have a lot of observations about this. So you're right. The underwear that she put on is not sexy. I don't think it's sexy at all. It's not like, oh, this is my sexy underwear. But again, why would she bring sexy underwear if she's going to be in a camp full of kids? So that would have been weird. The sexy underwear. It's sexy because it's fresh underwear. It's not the dirty underwear she's been wearing all day, which it's like you didn't even bother washing your vagina that's been sweating all day. So putting this fresh underwear is not going to do anything for you. 2, crotch perfume. I don't know, ladies. Drop me, Instagram something. I don't know if anyone out there has ever put perfume on their crotch, but one guy goes down there, that's not going to be a good time because it's going to be like, it's going to taste like perfume. No one wants fucking perfume smell. And also, for me, I would think the guy would be like, why is there perfume down here? Does she have something to hide? Oh, yes, that's the tartar that I smell. Disgusting. And 2, wouldn't that shit burn if it got inside the lips? I have so many questions.
Yeah, I think this would be not a good thing.
No. Someone needs to come out with, like, the Sex Panther, like the crotch perfume, like the Sex Panther version of it. I don't know what it would look like, the bottle. Probably some labia or something. I don't know. But anyways, enough for the crotch perfume.
So this one is also weird for the Friday the 13th movies, too, because it ends with, there's a girl who survives, Amy Steele, but we're not sure what happened to her boyfriend. There's a scene where Jason jumps through the window at the end and is attacking her and the boyfriend. And then Amy Steele gets knocked out. The next morning she wakes up in the ambulance and is like, where's Paul? Where's Paul? And like, oh, we didn't find him. We didn't look, really. We just didn't see anybody in the same room with you, so we just packed your shit up and we're going. And then that's the end of the movie. You never really find out. We assume Jason killed him. Maybe he was wounded in the woods. The cops sure as hell didn't look for him.
Maybe he was Jason.
Ooh, who knows?
And she couldn't handle it. So she put this whole psychological spin. Maybe the first one is not even fucking Jason at all.
First, let me stop you. This series is not that clever.
Well, it was. Well, you're right. It's not that clever.
They couldn't even come up with a reason why Jason was an adult now. They just glossed that shit over. So I guarantee you that's not it. But
well, they did. Well, this doesn't happen until years later. But I love how Jason reminds me of Chucky, because he's wearing the fucking plaid shirt with the fucking overalls. Like he's wearing a striped shirt with overalls,
yeah.
And I'm like, shake my head. What the fuck is going on with this outfit? It's like a big boy outfit.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is not one of the worst ones. This one's entertaining to watch. Like once you got up into the real later ones, like when you got into like part 7 and 8, that's when they really, to me, kind of lost it. I actually do kind of like the one, the Jason Goes to Hell. I like that one a little more than most people, because at least they tried to do something different with it finally. But I know I'm in the minority on that one. But I would give this one a solid 2.5 star, or knives rather. Hey, I did it this time, so do you. It's it's entertaining, it's fun to watch, but there's nothing, new or exciting about it really, because it's just a killer going after people repeatedly. It's just you kind of go from one like cheesy sex scene to another and a murder. There's no real plot to it or anything. It's fun to watch, but not much to it.
I mean, I'm going to throw some fucking crazy theory out there right now that I just thought about on the spot. Maybe it's not fucking Jason. There's no one to say that it is Jason. We never see him. We assume that it's Jason because he has his face covered, and we saw that his face is all jacked up, but we actually never see him. So maybe it's some other psycho that just happens to be around. And, like, fine, they did show the mom's head at the end, but it was there, like, where it was from the first movie, right? Like, it wasn't placed. It was, like, already on the
he
fucking...
He brought it back from Alice's house at the beginning. Whoever it was, brought the head back, put it back in this little cabin in the woods where he was supposedly living.
But the head that was in the refrigerator, that was supposed to be her head, because one,
yes.
It looked, how did she, no, another question. How did she fucking decompose and become a fucking mummy in like a day?
It was 5 years after.
Oh, 5 years after. That's right. We're in the future. I'm so sorry. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, 5 years. Fine. So she's fucking mummy head now.
And look, maybe Jason, one of his other skills he acquired is fucking taxidermy. I don't know.
Well, you know what? You have to learn a fucking skill if you're out in the woods. It's just not going to be a thing if you're just out there. And what else are you going to do? I mean, there's no cell phone, so it's not like he's going to be playing, fucking, what is it? Candy Tetris.
Candy Hearts?
Yeah, Candy Hearts.
The hell it is. I don't play any of those.
He's not playing a game out there. So he's learning, and there's so much awesome shit to do. You got canoes, you got archery. I mean, there's things.
Oh, he learned archery. We saw that in one of the others. He was pretty good with a bow.
He did, and he is fucking huge. Let me tell you, for someone that has like some mental disabilities and physical ones, like he definitely grew up to be a big strapping young boy and just very strong, because way later on we see that he picks up this chick in a fucking sleeping bag and just swings her around like nothing.
Well, that's after he became Zombie Jason.
Zombie Jason, even more so. Isn't his like shit atrophied? Like, how can he have such strength? So many questions. Maybe they pumped him up with some crazy fucking serum.
Who knows? That probably comes later.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for our second serving of the 40th anniversary of Friday the 13th 2, where we had a lot of questions.
And no answers from this movie.
No answers. I give the film 2 knives. It goes by really fast, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it was like, oh shit, okay, the movie's ending. That's already happening. Not that I wanted it to last longer, but it really doesn't take a lot of time on things. It's just like boom, 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 boom. That's it.
They're not fucking around. They're in, they're out.
There's no real backstory.
Yeah, there's no meat to the story.
No, there's none of that. Well, thank you so much, and stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.